By the numbers, the largest waterfall on Earth is not Niagara, and it is not Victoria Falls. It is a stretch of brown water in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where on an average day around 42,000 cubic meters of river tear through a single gorge every second. And here is the strange part. It is not really a waterfall at all. It is rapids, the Congo River dropping, churning and accelerating on its final run to the sea. This is Inga. The power in this water could, on paper, double the output of the world's largest dam. And after more than 50 years of plans, almost none of it has been built. This is maybe the most valuable piece of unbuilt infrastructure on Earth, and the story of why it stays unbuilt. Start with the paradox. The Democratic Republic of Congo sits on one of the largest sources of untapped hydropower anywhere, and only about 1 in 5 of its people has access to electricity. Kinshasa, the capital, is a city of roughly 17 million people, a few hours upriver from Inga, and it still lives with rolling blackouts. The river, meanwhile, never stops. Even the conservative figure engineers use for planning, 26,400 cubic meters per second, moving through a 150-meter drop, is a combination no other site on the planet can match. That arithmetic supports, in theory, a cascade of up to 8 dams and more than 40 gigawatts of capacity. But turning a river into a grid takes 3 things at once: financing, political stability, and transmission lines to carry the power to where people live. For 50 years, the DRC has struggled to hold all 3 at the same time. It did not start as a failure. In 1972, the country finished Inga I, 351 megawatts. A decade later, in 1982, came Inga II, at 1,424 megawatts, 4 times the size. To move that power, the country then built something genuinely audacious. The Inga-Shaba line, 1,700 kilometers of high-voltage, direct current stretched across jungle and savanna to the copper mines of the south. The longest line of its kind in the world when it was switched on. It cost close to $1 billion borrowed dollars, and for most of its length it simply flew over villages that stayed dark because it was built with nowhere to plug in along the way. The country was proud enough of all this to engrave it on the money. Look at a 100-franc note and you will find Inga II etched next to a transmission tower. But the turbines were already aging faster than anyone would maintain them. Spare parts went missing, repairs were deferred, then abandoned. And in August 1998, war reached the dams themselves. Advancing rebels seized the Inga complex and switched off the capital. Everything about the site's future froze, and stayed frozen for years. The reason anyone keeps coming back is the prize at the end. Grand Inga, a proposed cascade of up to 8 dams that would finally harness the full rapids. More than 40,000 megawatts, nearly double China's Three Gorges Dam, the current record holder at 22,500. Nearly 20 times Africa's most famous dam, the Aswan High Dam in Egypt. On paper, Grand Inga alone could supply as much as 40% of the electricity the entire African continent uses. The next step has a name, Inga III. It has been redesigned multiple times, most recently scoped in 2018 at 11,000 megawatts, with an estimated $18 billion price tag, including $4 billion just for the transmission lines to carry the power to mining regions and neighboring countries. Here is what makes Inga a cautionary tale as much as an inspiring one. The 2 dams that already exist are falling apart from simple neglect. Inga I and II currently operate at only around 40% of their combined original capacity, roughly 700 megawatts out of the more than 1,700 they were built for, because about half of their 14 turbines don't function at all. Decades of deferred maintenance, corruption, and political instability written into machinery. In 2021, it took a private mining company, Ivanhoe Mines, signing a deal just to rehabilitate one single turbine, turbine number 5 at Inga II. And that 162-megawatt fix exists mainly to power one copper mine, not the national grid. Inga III has followed the same rhythm at a larger scale. A 2018 agreement brought in a Chinese-Spanish consortium to study and help finance the project. The partnership later fell apart, echoing a pattern of international partners signing on to Grand Inga and then quietly withdrawing. Every time new investors arrive with a fresh feasibility study, The clock on almost happening resets to zero. As of 2025, Inga III is, once again, back on the table. The World Bank has committed roughly $1 billion. A memorandum of understanding was signed with Japan in April 2025 for technical assistance. The target is financial close somewhere in the 2025 to 2026 window. And if that close actually happens, construction is projected to take another 8 to 10 years. So Inga remains exactly what it has been for 50 years. The largest concentration of untapped power on the planet, running past 2 half-broken dams on a river that never stops. Whether 2026 is finally the year that changes, or just the next chapter in the same 50-year cycle, is a question this video can't answer for you. Only the next financial close can. If you want more mega projects taken apart like this, subscribe. There's a new one every week.